Hi, class and professor. This week, for my persuasive speech, I'm going to be talking about the benefits and the reasons to change from traditional gas-powered mowing to electric or battery-powered mowing. So, did you know that according to the EPA, gas-powered lawn maintenance accounts for over 5% of the CO2 emissions every year? While the emissions are one important factor to why we should switch from electric or battery powered to gas powered mowing, there are many other reasons. When we hear about pollution, we typically associate the word smog or carbon emissions, and while those are extremely important, not everyone cares about those as much. Noise pollution is a very real problem to the consumer as well as the worker. Battery-powered mowers operate typically at around 50% of the decibels of a gas-powered equipment. As a lawn care provider who uses battery-powered equipment, the benefit to me is hearing. Prolonged exposure to high decibel sounds can cause hearing loss. The benefit to the consumer comes from wanting peace and quiet around their property. This is a big selling point to the consumer for me, the environmentalist. I'm not as worried about the reason that they decide to switch, but more worried about the actual environmental impact that I am creating with my company. This leads me to my next point, the environmental impact of gas power mowing. The EPA has several stats on this, but for the sake of argument, I will go with the more conservative of those stats. Americans burn over 80 million gallons of gas yearly. What does that look like in comparison to vehicles? Well, the EPA estimates that 1 hour of running your gas-powered mower will emit the same pollution as 1 hour for 11 vehicles, 11 new running cars. The difference in emissions comes from the fact that emission regulatory equipment is tough to make for such small equipment. If we use the same regulatory equipment that we placed on vehicles, most lawn mowers would be too heavy for the consumer to use effectively. The emissions aren't the only problem with gas being used as a source of power for lawns. For mowing lawns. Spillage is a major pollutant to the environment. The EPA estimates that over 17 million gallons of fuel, mostly gasoline, are spilled each year while refueling lawn equipment. That's more than all the oil spilled by the Exxon Valdez in the Gulf of Alaska. In addition, the groundwater contamination spilled fuel that evaporates into the air and volatile organic compounds spit out by small engines make smog-forming ozone when cooked by the heat and sunlight. By using electric lawn equipment, you don't need to worry about gas spillage. You just plug in the power source to the wall, or you use a solar panel as my business uses. And replenish your energy that way. No messy, smelly, dangerous gas to worry about. So by switching to electric, battery-powered lawn equipment, you can not only help save the planet, but you can also save money in the long run. Electric equipment is generally about 25% more in upfront cost, but you will quickly earn that back now that you don't have to worry about the level of continued maintenance required to own gas-powered equipment like oil changes, seals, rings, spark plugs, and the continued need for gas to power the equipment. Electricity is much cheaper. Gas-powered mowers aren't without merit, though. They do offer a little better cut when having to cut thick, wet grass, and sometimes are made out of heavier materials which make them a little more durable. There's also the benefit of no cord if you're comparing directly to corded electric mowers as opposed to battery powered. In conclusion, I think and I hope that you can now see the benefits are not only to the environment but to you, the consumer, as well. Please consider making the switch from traditional gas-powered lawn equipment to electric, battery-powered, doing your part as a global citizen to extend the life of our beautiful planet and help slow climate change. Thank you very much.